Hi, Susan. What are you all celebrating in East Dayton?
Well, Vicki, I'm glad you asked. But first, let me tell you a little bit about East Dayton Fellowship, because I don't know that everyone knows what's happening at that part on that level. But we have combined congregations back in 2019. We combined the East Dayton Church of the Brethren congregation and a 2012 Brethren in Christ church plant called the Shepherd's Table, which was started by Pastor Zach Spidell. And Zach is a member, his home congregation is Fairview Brethren in Christ Church in Inglewood. So this group called East Dayton Fellowship is meeting in the building owned by East Dayton Church of the Brethren. We are located in an economically depressed area with high rates of homelessness, addiction, and crime. So our congregation includes those from the neighborhood. Therefore, we include in our congregation addicts, homeless, and the very poor. But despite this not so good stuff that is in our neighborhood, we at East Dayton Fellowship have a lot to celebrate. We are very thankful for the organizations that have chosen to partner with us to carry out the ministries in our neighborhood. One I'd like to highlight is Food for the Journey Project. A little over a year and a half ago, they began serving hot meals on Friday afternoon out of our parking lot. Sometimes, actually most of the time, they actually prepare the meal in our kitchen, and then they run up the bags of lunch and serve them and give them to those in our parking lot at that time. Occasionally, they will bring a trailer with them. They actually cook out of the trailer. They're serving between 150 and 200 meals every Friday. So this kind of started what we call our Friday ministries at East Dayton Fellowship, because seeing the people coming to our church, we decided to set up, we being the church, decided to set up tables to give things away. Over time, people had donated stuff to our church knowing that we had needy people, and so they donated clothing, other items. So we started putting them on the tables to be given away, and it obviously was a success. Eventually, we ended up with so many clothing donations, we started a clothing closet. And so now that is actually housed in our basement. It takes up about half the basement space when it's all fully open. And so now we have this awesome time on Friday afternoons with tons of people coming to get free lunches and free clothing who are in quite need of it. But a celebration within this celebration is that those receiving the help we offer often end up becoming the volunteers for us on Friday, whether they're in helping the clothing closet or out with our tables. And so it's awesome to see that transformation. Another organization we're thankful for, actually there's two of them related here, the Whole Truth Ministries and Simple Street Ministries. These are addiction recovery organizations. They own a sober living house across the street from us, as well as some nearby on other streets for recovering addicts. They have Thursday evening meetings in our basement, but they connect us to people in need, people that we can help with. You know, when they say, hey, you know, we've got this guy shows up, nothing, we need clothing, bring him over to our clothing closet. And then we also are able to help people, individuals that'll come, addicts or something who need some help, and we can point them to these organizations. And what was really neat that just happened recently is these two organizations got together and they held a revival in our church yard. Huge tent put up, a couple hundred people showed up over the weekend. There were 2 evening worship services, several baptisms. One woman who was a homeless addict was ministered to and actually taken to Columbus to get entered into a treatment center there. Several people went down and got clothing who had no clothing. 200 to 300 grilled hamburgers were served. And on Saturday morning, this group got together and did a neighborhood cleanup, which involved pulling huge things out of alleys, mattresses, I mean, all kinds of things, putting them in our front yard or side yard of the church and waiting for City of Dayton to pick them up. So again, that was those two organizations. A third organization I'd like to lift up in this message is Narcotics Anonymous. They meet weekly in our church basement on Friday nights. They are averaging about 80 people each week. Talk about a need in the neighborhood. In addition to organizations partnering with us, we are celebrating our ability to work with some kids, youth, combination kids, youth, but our base in this kids and youth group are these 3 kids who have been homeless off and on for the last 3 years. But we're able to give them activities that they've never done before. We've gone camping, we've gone fishing, quite a few things that they've never experienced before. And we're excited that we were able to raise enough funds to send one of these youths and an advisor to National Youth Conference this summer. We celebrate our Sunday services. We are serving a 9 a.m. breakfast to the neighborhood, whoever wants to come for that. And our attendance for worship is increasing. We've gone from an average of 20 people on Sunday mornings to this past April, we averaged 35. And a couple of times we have passed 40. But what's really exciting is the makeup of this increase. Many of these new attendees are coming from the activities I described. There are people that have come to the free lunches and free clothing giveaways, or have come because they are part of Whole Truth Ministries, and so they know what we're doing, and they've been in our church. They have come because they've been to the Narcotics Anonymous Ministries meetings, and they want to be a part of this congregation. And that is what, to us, is just a great celebration, that not only are we reaching them in the physical human needs, but that they now want to receive the spiritual side of needs as well. Finally, we celebrate our financial partnerships. Those who make up our congregation, even if they would give everything they had, would not be able to cover the EDF, East Dayton Fellowship Ministries budget. So we rely heavily on outside help. We are thankful for district grants. We are thankful for churches that have intentionally chosen to become financial supporters. And we're thankful for the many individuals throughout the district who support us directly. Without these financial supporters, we could not provide the ministries I just described. For all these things I've mentioned, Vicki, we celebrate, despite the fact that we live in this depressed corner of East Dayton. We celebrate what God is doing here and what God is doing through us.